ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So welcome back to Wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on chapter 9 of Canto 1, which is entitled The Passing Away of Bhīṣmadeva in the Presence of Lord Shri Krishna. So in the last session, we have covered up to verse number 17. So we are going to continue from verse number 18. It looks like we are going to require one more session for this chapter. So we will go up to around 35 verses, and then the remaining verses we will cover in the next session. So in the last session, we saw in this chapter that Yudhishthir Maharaj approached Bhīṣmadeva, who was lying on the bed of arrows on the battlefield. And this was all the arrangement of Lord Shri Krishna. Lord Shri Krishna brought Yudhishthir Maharaj and all the other Pandavas, and he brought them into opulent chariots and very wonderful. They are dressed nicely, and Lord Shri Krishna wanted to show to Bhīṣmadeva that all the sufferings of the Pandavas is now finished, so that when Bhīṣmadeva is leaving his body, he can be rest assured that now Yudhishthir Maharaj has become the king and the Pandavas are now well situated. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, all the other Pandavas, his brothers, and Lord Shri Krishna, when they appeared in front of Bhīṣmadeva, they humbly offered obeisances to the great devotee Bhīṣma. And suddenly many great sages and exalted devotees from all around the universe, they appeared there. And we saw that there was a long list. There were Rajarshis, Devarshis, and so many other sages. All appeared um, to witness this great moment of passing away of Bhishmadev. As we know, Bhishmadev is not an ordinary devotee. He is one of the 12 Mahajanas. So he's leaving this body in front of Lord Shri Krishna is one of the very wonderful moments. And we will see why as well in the remaining chapter that we are going to see. So when all these exalted devotees came to meet Bhīṣmadeva, Bhīṣmadeva was not in a position to stand up, go to their chariots and welcome them, or go to the sages and worship them. But we saw that he understood the principles of devotional service and how it has to be applied. So what he did, he was not able to welcome them physically, so he welcomed them with sweet words and with his heartfelt feelings that he offered to them. So he showed the conduct of a true Mahajana. He followed the etiquette. At the same time, he was able to welcome them. And those people who came to meet him, all those devotees, sages, Pandavas, Lord Shri Krishna, they understood his feelings. They accepted his welcome. Then, knowing Krishna as both the super soul within and the Lord before him, Bhīṣma worshipped him. He was overcome by love, and Bhīṣma then blessed the Pandavas with the tears of his joy, and he was very content after that to see that suffering has been ended for Pandavas and Yudhishthir has been enthroned. Understanding that Yudhishthir Maharaj is still worried about all this massacre that has happened on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and understanding that he's feeling guilty of that massacre, Bhishma consoled Yudhishthir Maharaj. And he explained that the Pandavas have gone through so many difficulties themselves throughout their life. And it was not their fault. It was not that it was because of their some past karmas or whatever. He explained that they were saved through all these calamities only because that they were doing Vipra Dharma Achyuta Ashraya. They had taken shelter of Vipra, Dharma, and Achyuta. And we spoke quite elaborately and discussed that in the last session, that it is the shelter that we have to take of Bhakta, Bhakti, and Bhagavan. And if we take the shelter of them, then we will get protection. And we also discussed how we can take shelter of Bhaktas, how we can take shelter of Bhakti, and how we can take the shelter of Bhagavan. So Bhīṣmadeva also remembered that Kunti Devi has gone through repeated sufferings. First of all, when her husband passed away, leaving behind these 5 children for Kunti to look after, and in this political turmoil that she had to really protect them. And then, of course, afterwards as well, because of the actions and the tribulations that the Pandavas had to go through, then she suffered again. And uh, Bhishma was contemplating what could be the reason for all these difficulties that the Pandavas and Kunti Maharani went through. So he first of all said that everything happens under the power of time, Kala. And the wise people do not resent the destiny, but they remain very steady throughout um, the situations that or the challenges that they are going through. And then he remembered that the Pandavas are actually materially as well as spiritually very well situated. Materially, they are well situated because Arjun and Bhima, they are one of the greatest warriors. And they had spiritual strength because Lord Shri Krishna was with them. And still, they could not avoid the reverses in their life. And he concluded that this proves that the time is very supreme. And then he came to the main point, how time is the energy of the Supreme Lord, and it is all by the will of the Lord, everything is happening. So Lord's plans are beyond our comprehension. We cannot understand and think about what the Lord is thinking, what plan he has done for us. So he suggests to Yudhishthir Maharaj, understanding that all of these things which are happening, they are by the plan of the Supreme Lord. The best thing that we can do is to surrender to that will and follow the plans of the Lord. So Bhishma concluded that, Yudhishthir Maharaj, now it is Lord's plan that you rule the world. He wants you to be the king, and he wants to re-establish the dharma. So as a devotee, you should accept that plan and then follow that plan. So that is what Bhīṣma Maharaj, Bhīṣmadeva has explained to Yudhishthir Maharaj. In a very brief, like only with few verses, he told Yudhishthir Maharaj that don't worry, all of these challenges which has gone through, all these people who have died on the battlefield is not because of you. It is because of the plan of the Lord. Lord wants to establish the principles of religion. That is the purpose that he has come. And in establishing that principle of religion, the dharma, those people who are on the side of adharma have to be wiped out. And as per his plan, he wants now you to be the king. So you just be the king. You do your duty. So that is how he has pacified Yudhishthir Maharaj. So this is also auspicious 5 days now from today. It is called Bhīṣma Panchaka, and we are talking about Bhīṣmadeva. So this is a very auspicious time to talk about and look at the prayers that he is going to offer in this Bhīṣma Panchaka and on this in this Bhīṣma Panchaka time. So the devotees do some kind of austerities during the entire month of Kartik, which is called Urja Vrata. But especially the last 5 days, they intensify their austerity. So this is an opportunity for all of us to intensify our austerity, remove the focus that we have on our own self. And in this 5 days, just like the entire Kartik, we are trying to focus more and more on the Supreme Lord. Let us intensify our bhakti as well in this last 5 days. And hopefully we can continue our intensified bhakti for the rest of our life. Okay, let us move on to now the 18th verse. एष वै भगवान् साक्षात् आद्यो नारायणः पुमान् मोहयन् मायया लोकम् गूढश्चरति वृष्णिषु. Yes, Adidevi Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. This Sri Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He is the first Narayan, the supreme enjoyer, but he is moving amongst the descendants of King Vrishni, just like one of us, and he is bewildering us with his self-created energy.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So everything is happening by Lord's will. So before anyone starts doubting and getting confused about the Lord, that, oh, why the Lord is actually making his devotees go through these challenges, then Bhishma starts explaining about Lord Shri Krishna, who Lord Shri Krishna is. So in this verse, he is explaining that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the first Narayan, Adyo Narayana. He is the supreme enjoyer. And he mentions that the Lord bewilders everyone with his Maya. So he covers Kunti Maharani, if you remember, she was also mentioning Maya Javanika Chandan. So everyone is covered by Maya and they are not able to see Krishna and identify him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is just playing like an actor in a drama. Same thing Bhīṣmadeva is also saying. He's saying that Lord Shri Krishna comes and he moves secretly in the Vrishni family, just like any one of us. And people are not able to identify him because he has bewildered everyone with Maya. Bhīṣma is one of the 12 Mahajans. So he is indeed an authority in the spiritual science. So we can believe his statement. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport how he is one of the Mahajans, and in material life as well, we accept the words of the authority. Like when teachers tells us that this is the case, then we have faith in the teacher and we accept blindly what the teacher explains to us. Same on the spiritual subject matter, it is the 12 Mahajanas who are the authorities, and Bhīṣmadeva is one of them. So Bhīṣmadeva has mentioned that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Also, of course, not only him, many other sages, as well as Krishna also has declared that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Many scriptures have given that. Even Srimad Bhagavatam, we have seen earlier, multiple times, has declared Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can accept Bhishma's words as he is the authority on the spiritual science, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in these verses from 18 to 24, Bhishmadeva is glorifying the position of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this verse, we saw that he is mentioning that Lord is inconceivable because he is bewildering everyone with Maya, but he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let us look at the next verse. अस्यानुभावं भगवान् वेदगुह्यतमं शिवः देवर्षिर्नारदः साक्षात् भगवान् कपिलो नृप. Go ahead, Rajiv.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. O King, Lord Shiva, Narad, the sage amongst the demigods, and Kapila, the incarnation of Godhead, all know very confidently about his glories through direct contact.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Here, interestingly, now more personalities have been quoted. So Bhishmadev, he himself is explaining that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he says, not only me, but Lord Shiva, Narada, sage amongst demigod, who is the Devarshi, and Kapila, the incarnation of Godhead, all know very confidentially about his glories through direct contact. Now, what is a special thing about these three personalities is that these three personalities are also Mahajanas. If you remember, there are 12 Mahajanas. Excuse me. Swayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumar Kapilo Manuhu Pralhado Janako Bhīṣmo Balir Sakir Vayam. So Yamaraj is saying this. So Yamaraj is that Vayam in the last. So in this, if you can see, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara and Kapila, they are mentioned. Narada, which is mentioned here, then Shambhu, which is Lord Shiva, and Kapila Muni is also mentioned. So he's saying that not only me, Bhishmadev is saying this, but all these other Mahajanas, they are also these great personalities. They also know Lord's activities. They also know how Lord is the Supreme Personality of God. Let us go ahead. Yam manyase matuleyam priyam mitram suvrutattamam akaro sachivam dutam savrudadat sarathim.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead.
Idi. O King, that personality whom out of ignorance only you thought to be your material cousin, your very dear friend, well-wisher, counselor, messenger, benefactor, etc., is that very personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So in this verse, he's mentioning to Yudhishthir Maharaj that the Mahajanas like himself and Narad Muni, Shiva, Kapila, they know Lord's activities. But in ignorance, you, O Yudhishthir Maharaj, you are considering Lord to be your cousin, your friend. So sometimes he asked, like Yudhishthir Maharaj asked Krishna to be his messenger. He asked for counsel. So there are many roles that Krishna has performed in Pandava's life. As a cousin, as a dear friend, as a well-wisher, as a counselor, as a messenger, as a benefactor, so many things. But they need to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and doesn't have to be a chariot driver or a messenger for Pandavas. But only out of his causeless mercy that he comes under the control of his devotees. We saw that in this Damodar Leela, in this Kartik month which is going on, that how Bhrutya Vashyata is one of the qualities of the Supreme Lord, that he comes under the control of his devotees. And then he performs a menial service for them. Just like we know that he became the chariot driver of Arjuna. He became a messenger for Yudhishthira Maharaj. But just because he takes this menial role of becoming a chariot driver or a messenger, that doesn't mean that he becomes an ordinary person like us. He still remains as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada actually explains in the next purport very wonderfully. So we'll read that when we come to that. Let us go to 21. Sarvatmana samadrusho yadvayasyan ahankృతే tatkrutam mati vaishamyam niravadyasya na kvachet.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Being the absolute personality of Godhead, He is present in everyone's heart. He is equally kind to everyone. He is free from the false ego of differentiation. Therefore, whatever He does is free from material inebriety. He is equally balanced. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So Bhīṣmadeva is now mentioning various different qualities, wonderful and faultless qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says that the Lord, you are Sarvatmanaha. You are present in everyone's heart. So, and Srila Prabhupada is explaining all of this, at least most of these qualities in his purport very beautifully. Actually, let us read that purport. It's a small purport. So let us read and then I'll explain a little bit about these qualities based on the purport. Yes, Aparna Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Because he is absolute, there's nothing different from him. He is Kaivalya. There's nothing except himself. Everything and everyone is the manifestation of his energy, and thus he is present everywhere by his energy, being non-different from it. The sun is identified with every inch of the sun rays and every molecular particle of the rays. Similarly, the Lord is distributed by his different energies. He is Paramatma, or the super soul, present in everyone as the supreme guidance, and therefore he is already the chariot driver and counsel of all living beings. When he therefore exhibits himself as chariot driver of Arjuna, there is no change in his exalted position. It is the power of devotional service only that demonstrate him as the chariot driver or the messenger. Since he has nothing to do with the material conception of life, because he is absolute spiritual identity, there is for him no superior or inferior action. Being the absolute personality of Godhead, he has no false ego, and so he does not identify himself with anything different from him. The material conception of ego is equibalanced in him. He does not feel, therefore, inferior by becoming the chariot driver of his pure devotee. It is the glory of the pure devotee that only he can bring about service from the affectionate Lord. Hare Krishna.
Very wonderful purport. So, Srila Prabhupada, in a flowing manner, he is explaining these qualities and explaining how the Lord is Sarvatmana. He is present in everyone's heart. So, if the Lord is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, he is already guiding everyone from the heart. So, he is the chariot driver and counselor for everyone. So, if he is chariot driver and counselor for everyone, so when he becomes a chariot driver or a counselor, so chariot driver for Arjuna and counselor for Arjuna and all the other Pandavas, there is no change in his exalted position because he's already doing that. Only now externally it is manifesting like it. Then he's Samadrisha. He's equally kind to everyone. Why is that? Because everything and everyone is manifestation of his energy. So he's equal. Then Anahankratehe. It is mentioned that he is Anahankrate. Anahankrate means he's free from this ego, false ego of differentiation. So out of ego, sometimes we think that this particular thing is superior, this particular thing is inferior. If I get this particular service, I am superior devotee. But if I am asked to do a pot washing service or cleaning the temple service, then that is an inferior service. But this superior and inferior, that is coming into mind because of our false ego. That is why we are differentiating like this. But for Lord Shri Krishna, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has no false ego. So he does not feel inferior to be the chariot driver of his pure devotees. Then he is Advayasya. So he is absolute. There is no dvaya, no duality in him. So he is absolute. And therefore, there is Mati Vaishamya. Therefore, whatever he does is free from the material differentiation. And Nirvadasya. He is free from all attachment. And the context of these last two qualities we will see in the next verse. How he is Mati Vaishamya and Nirvadasya. So, verse number 22. तथाप्यैकान्त भक्तेषु पश्य भूपानुकम्पितं यन्मे त्यजतः साक्षात् कृष्णो दर्शमागतः. Yes, Vidushi Mataji, go ahead.
Yet, despite his being equally kind to everyone, he has graciously come before me while I am ending my life, for I am his unflinching servitor.
Yeah. So he's saying, Bhīṣmadeva is saying that yes, Lord is beyond this material differentiation and he's free from all attachment. And after saying this, he's showing how the Lord is attached and how he differentiates in this verse. What is he saying? Despite his being equally kind to everyone, he has graciously come before me while I am ending my life, for I am his unflinching servitor. This purport is also very beautiful. Let us read the first two paragraphs of this purport. Who's next? Aminder Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The Supreme Lord, the Absolute Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, always, although equally to everyone, is still more inclined to his unflinching devotees, who is completely surrendered and knows no one else as his protector and master. Having unflinched faith in the Supreme Lord as one protector, friend, and master is the natural condition of eternal life. A living entity is so made by the will of the Almighty that he is most happy when placing himself in a condition of absolute dependence. The opposite tendency is the cause of the fall down. The living entity has his tendency of falling down by the dint of misidentifying himself as fully independent to the Lord is over the material world. The root cause of all trouble is there in false egotism. One must draw towards the Lord in all circumstances. Correct.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. So Lord is free from all the material differentiation. He is equal to everyone. He is unattached. Yes, from the Tattva point of view, it is right. But he has still appeared in front of Bhīṣmadeva while he is ending his life. Why? It is because he is merciful. And especially he is merciful to his unflinching devotees. So we can say that he is equal to everyone, but still he is more inclined to his unflinching devotees. That is his reciprocation. If you are completely surrendered, Srila Prabhupada is explaining in this first paragraph, that if you are completely surrendered to the Lord and knows no one apart from the Lord as the protector, friend, and master, then that person will become happy in Krishna consciousness. But if we have an opposite tendency, which is thinking that I am independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in that mood we try to lord it over the material nature, then that causes the fall down. That will make us remain bound in this material world, life after life, and will remain in this cycle of birth, old age, death, and disease. So how do we move from this second paragraph, like this mindset which is mentioned in the second paragraph, which is full of this fall down, like we are falling down, we are gliding down this this path. So how do we actually go to this mood that is mentioned in the first paragraph, which is the unflinching devotee, thinking that the Lord is the protector, master, and everything? That secret Srila Prabhupada has given in the end, at the end of this purport. So the Bhagyashri Mataji, if you can read, the best way to establish.
The best way to establish our relation in transcendental sweetness is to approach him through his recognized devotees. One should not try to establish the relation directly. There must be a via medium which is transparent and competent to lead us to the right path.
So three things Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, that how we can actually, we are gliding down, we are sliding down on this material path, and we want to suddenly go to the spiritual path. And we want to become the unflinching devotee of the Supreme Lord, so that he will reciprocate with us more. How we can do that? He said that the best way is to establish our relation in transcendental sweetness. How we can do that? By approaching him through his recognized devotees. So we have to approach the Supreme Lord through his recognized devotees. Second thing he mentions, that one should not try to establish the relationship directly. There must be a medium which is transparent and competent to lead us to the right path. So this is the third point, which is similar to the first point, but giving the more details, that who's the recognized devotee. So that recognized devotee has to be transparent and competent to lead us to the right path. So through such a devotee, we can approach the Supreme Lord, not directly. Then we can stop this sliding down this material path and going up onto the spiritual path. That is possible. So, and then Lord will graciously come before us as well at the time of leaving our body. So relationship with the Lord, how to re-establish our relationship with the Lord, that secret is given in these last few verses. In the 18th and 19th verse, we saw that we can know about the Lord from a proper spiritual authority, like the Mahajanas, the pure devotees, the spiritual masters. They are guiding us on the path. So we can know about the Lord from a proper spiritual authority. Excuse me. And best way to establish the relationship with the Lord is to approach him through his recognized devotees. and don't try to establish the relationship directly. So this is the way to establish relationship with the Lord. Know about him from the authority, establish the relationship by approaching the Lord through his recognized devotees, and don't have this mood of directly approaching the Lord. If we do this, then we can also re-establish our lost relationship with the Lord. So I have a question for you based on this, that why we should not try to establish the relationship directly. Because many people have this thinking that I don't want anyone between me and the Lord. So why should I have someone in between me and the Lord by going through some devotee or through this parampara or anyone? Let me develop direct relationship. So why we should not try to establish the relationship directly? What could be the problems? And why we should try to develop the relationship only through a devotee? Multiple questions. So if you have raised those hands for reading, you can put those hands down and then raise your hands if you want to answer my question. That why we should not try to establish relationship directly, what could be the problems, and why we should establish relationship through devotees only. Vikas Prabhuji.
That was for reading, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. But in general, if we try to develop the relationship directly, basically we may miss the kind of humility or the discipline. But when we do it with the devotees, some kind of discipline and comes into the play, and they can do the corrections as well.
Yeah,
And
very good. Yes, that will help us if
yeah.
we are going through the devotees. Yes. Sadashiv Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned Tadvidhi Pranipatena. So we have to follow the instructions of the Lord. So we have to approach the spiritual master and serve him and inquire submissively and then progress.
Yeah, excellent answer, Prabhuji. So Krishna wants us to see him through his devotees. That is why he has said, as Prabhuji has mentioned, Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashanena Sevaya Upadekshit Krishna Upadekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshina. So if Lord wanted us to connect directly to him, he wouldn't have said that approach the spiritual master, serve him submissively, ask him questions, and then the Lord is going to, the devotees, such devotees, the Tattvadarshibhi, they will actually then guide you towards the Lord. So Krishna has given us a clear instruction that we have to approach him through his devotees. So one of the reasons why we should approach the Supreme Lord not directly, but through the devotees, is because it is Lord's instruction. Lord has given this way to us. That is why we should do like that. Very good. Paminder Prabhuji.
Sorry, I was trying to select my mute button. Why we can't approach directly? So my like practical way of looking into it is that we even don't know who the Lord is. So how we approach it, even when we don't know, there has to be some reference, just like when we go to school or college to figure out like material like knowledge as well. Same for spiritual knowledge as well. We need to have some sort of a reference to do it. And as you mentioned in your earlier lecture, Prabhuji, that reference is not by someone imagining or creating by themselves. It's something that has to be by a proper Guru Shishya Parampara, so that we know that, number one, that knowledge is factual, it has some basis, it has not been like imaginative in that nature.
Right. Very good.
Krishna.
So we are not pure. We do not know the Supreme Lord. So how can we know him? So we require someone who knows the Lord, and through them we can approach him. Very good. Adidevi Mataji.
Prabhuji, I don't recollect the verse, but somewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, I think I remember having read that uh, devotee of my service to my devotee is more dearer than service to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not in Bhagavad Gita, but yes, that is true.
Somewhere I have read it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, correct. So Krishna has said that service to my devotees is very dear to him. Okay, Surananda Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think Parmendra Prabhuji partly covered what I wanted to tell. So we have accumulated all the anarthas in so many lifetimes. So we have to first purify, get our heart clean. Then only you can connect with Krishna. I just wanted to give one material example, Prabhuji. If you wanted to stick two different things with the glue, so first thing is you have to clear that if there are any dust particles around that. Once you do that and then connect it, it connects firmly.
Nice, Prabhuji. You're right. So we are still not pure. We are covered with these three modes. So we cannot know Krishna with this contaminated intelligence that we have. And if we try to do that, then we will project our own material ideas on the Supreme Lord Krishna. And we will develop a lot of misunderstanding about Krishna. For example, many people think that I am God, you are God, everyone can become God. And sometimes people think that, oh, when Krishna comes in this material world, he's covered with Maya. Or we may actually try to imitate his activities like Ras Leela because of the misunderstandings. But the pure devotees, because their intelligence is purified, their mind is purified, they are the transparent via medium. They are not actually blocking our vision, but they are enabling our vision by which we are able to see the God properly, and they enable our connection with the Supreme Lord. That is why we require Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Now, when we say Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, the Shastra also requires Guru and Sadhu, because Shastra is there, but to understand Shastra, we still require Guru and Sadhu. So basically, Guru and Sadhu are very, very important in our life. They will purify our intelligence, and then through that purified vision, actually through their purified vision, we can also know Krishna. And as it was mentioned earlier, they will also protect us from the misunderstanding and offenses that we may do. So very good points. Yes, Rajiv Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. For me, it's very simple because getting connected with devotees brings me back personally, back on track. Otherwise, I get distracted. So it makes it very simple. When you're connected with devotees, you're naturally going to be walking on the right path. And plus, I think one of the Mataji was trying to reference it, maybe Adidevi Mataji. I think that reference is from Ramayana when Sri Ramchandraji shares with Sabri Mataji, the 9 paths of devotion. So the Pratama Bhakti Santana Karasanga is, hang around with, satsangs with other devotees. And that's the first path of devotion. Hare Krishna Prabhu. So, Prabhuji, you're mute, I think.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Uma Mataji, Vidushi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you said exactly what I wanted to say. So some people think that they can understand Krishna through Shastra, but Shastra is like a database, and you may get to a wrong conclusion or a different conclusion, and may get even lost in it. So you need a guru or devotees to show you the straight path. But also Jnanam and Vijnanam Prabhuji, as Gauranga Prabhuji was saying, translating the knowledge that you may come to the right conclusions, but without devotees and guru, you may not be able to transfer that to Vijnanam and apply it.
Very, very important point that you have mentioned, Vidushi Mataji. So you can read the various recipes, and then through that you will think that, okay, I know how to cook now. But only when you actually cook under the guidance of an expert cook. Only then you will understand the mood and the taste of the item that you are cooking. Otherwise, you will cook something and you will think that you have done properly. The theory is there, but when you are applying it into the practice, you may lose many of the things, many of the steps in between, and the taste will be lost. So Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. He is only conquered by the love of his devotees. And that is why we require devotees' mercy. Our endeavor is actually not enough for understanding the Supreme Lord. To get we require mercy. And that mercy will come from the devotees only. Actually, Krishna is not moved by our austerities, our knowledge, or any rituals, even perfectly that we are doing. He only wants our love, our devotion. So how do we get that mercy? What is that mercy that we are talking about? That we get from the devotees is exactly what Vidushi Mataji was mentioning. That Krishna is reciprocal. Devotees have relationship. So those devotees who have relationship with the Supreme Lord, only they can teach us how to develop that relationship with the Supreme Lord. So by serving such devotees, we will also catch their mood. So no book or theory can give us this mood or bhava by which we can approach the Supreme Lord. So only by serving the devotees who have some love for Krishna, we can then understand that love, catch that bhava, and then naturally, then we will become dear to Krishna. So theory is fine, which is given, but how to apply that into practice, how to develop that mood, how to develop that bhava, that we can only learn from a living devotee who already has that bhava, that love for Krishna. Yes, Sannivas Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it was said that everyone in this material condition world is have 4 defects. So always make mistakes, illusion, and then cheating, and then limited senses. So with these 4 defects, we can't understand anything perfectly. So we have to take a shelter, as you mentioned, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mama Bijanate. Yavam Yachashvitatvataha. So only the bhaktas knows about his real nature. So by taking the shelter of that devotee, the bhakti is transformed from their heart to our heart. So that's how we can understand bhakti.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Only through devotees we can know Krishna because they are the knowers of the Supreme Lord and the absolute truth. Bhageshwari Mataji.
If we don't go through via the devotee medium, we might concoct our own process, and then sometimes, yeah, and I think most of the times we might fall down. And also, we should always be connected with the devotees, otherwise, we lose enthusiasm in the middle as well sometimes.
Yeah, very nice, Mataji. So enthusiasm will come, that mood will come from the devotees. And the other thing is that we will develop some misunderstanding, and we will also even commit some offenses because of that. Yes, Bharatwaj Rishi Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like for Krishna, see, you always said that service goes up and mercy comes down. So for our service to be accepted by Krishna, there are so many devotees actually serving him purely. So he doesn't need to accept our service, which filled with contamination probably in the beginning stages. So we depend on mercy of the devotees, like who actually recommend for us. And then that's how the mercy actually flows back, even though our service is not filled with purity, but still, we get the mercy because of the devotees of their
So
recommendation.
we are not connected. Very good. We are not connected to the Supreme Lord because of our contaminated senses and the mind and intelligence. But someone who is not contaminated, who's connected, if we serve them, they will mercifully accept our service and then pass it on to the Supreme Lord, and we will also get the mercy, which we are anyway getting by those devotees allowing us to serve.
Yes.
So that is their mercy. Thank you. Yes. Vidushi Mataji. You have another point?
Yes, please, Prabhuji. I feel like sometimes, I feel like when you listen to the stories through devotees, it's actually sweeter. Otherwise, it becomes very dry. It's so when you listen through devotees, because their sweetness and their love and realization is mixed in with this, it actually is sweeter, and you enjoy it more than just reading yourself and coming.
Absolutely. In association of devotees, it is becoming more fun, more enjoyable. So that is why Krishna says that Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Machita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayanta shabam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Yes, Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. All the points have been covered wonderfully. So, are we allowed to ask question on the same stuff? Is it okay?
Let us finish the conversation first. I have
Sure.
few more points that I'm waiting for.
I have written down my questions, so I won't forget. Thank you,
Okay,
Prabhuji.
good. Sudhanma Prabhuji and Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Most of them covered nicely. Even in the material platform, we have to go through a proper channel. For example, if you have to go to High Commissioner, you can't approach directly. So, when Supreme Personality you have to approach, you can't definitely approach. You need
Yes, you have to go through the
private.
proper authority. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
The Mahajanas, that is
Yes.
what Bhīṣmadeva was also saying, that only Mahajanas know. So only
Yeah.
the devotees know the Supreme Lord, how to develop relationship, who he is, and how to develop relationship with him. So only
Yeah.
through them we can establish that. What is the problem? Actually, I'm looking for the point related to what is the problem related to developing direct relationship. Thinking that I want to develop direct relationship.
Prabhuji, can we just share something? Prabhuji, it's probably we can create the Sahaja mentality as well when we are trying to have a direct relationship with the Lord.
Yeah,
It's
we
one of
covered
the
that
things.
earlier, that thinking like imitating the Ras Leela because of the misunderstanding that we may develop because of that. Yes.
Right.
Actually, the point I'm looking at was also covered little bit, very briefly, by Vikas Prabhu when he started. Anyway, but we will still see what are the other devotees thinking. Srinivasa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I think we'll commit a lot of offense when we do like our own mindful contemplative, whatever you are
Yes,
doing.
yes. We will make, because of the misunderstandings, there may be offenses. That's correct. Pamendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I guess one rationale might be if you try to seek Lord directly is through dhyan and other yogas, which are very, very cumbersome processes. And even then also you need some sort of a reference. However, in a bhakti yoga, it's all about being closer to devotees and through them, like trying to channelize that association.
Okay, fine. Your other paths are troublesome. So the devotees can give us the easiest path that can give, that can give the maximum benefit. Okay, there are lots of hands. So we'll just take these 3-4 hands and then we will pass on, move ahead. Bharadwaja Prabhu.
Prabhuji, is it the false ego? Because we think
Yeah,
that we can directly approach the Lord.
correct. That was the point I was looking at. Yes, absolutely. So the right mood to connect to the Supreme Lord, that needs to be developed first. Thinking that I am able to connect directly to the Supreme Lord, this actually comes from this ego, false ego that we have, the pride that we have. We think that I don't need Guru and other devotees. I will go straight to God. This pride is opposite to the mood of humility that Krishna likes. So that is why when he says Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya, is Pranipat is there mentioned. So he asks us to develop the mood of humility by serving the spiritual master. Become Trinadapi Sunichena, Taroropi Sahishnuna. And in that right mood, once we have developed that, then we will be able to develop the relationship with the Supreme Lord. And that is why he is asking us to go through the devotees and instead of directly approaching him. So various different reasoning that we saw, that first of all, we are contaminated. So we will develop a lot of misunderstandings and we will do offenses. But the pure devotee, he is having the clear vision of the Supreme Lord, and he understands the Supreme Lord properly. That's why through that transparent via medium, we can approach the Supreme Lord. That's the first one. Second one is we will develop the right mood by being in the association of devotees, that we will develop this mood of humility instead of pride and arrogance. And the third reason is Krishna wants us to follow this Guru Parampara. That is why he has given such instructions in all the scriptures. And plus, we saw that Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, that he's only conquered with love. And all these other dry austerities or any knowledge or rituals that we may do, that is actually of not a lot of use if there is no love and devotion that is there along with that. And this right bhava, this application of the principles given in the scriptures, we cannot know on our own. That is why it is mentioned Mahajano Yena Gata Sapantha, that we have to follow in the footsteps of the Mahajanas. By serving these devotees, we will understand their bhava, their mood, and then that mood will rub onto us, and with that mood, we can progress. And there could be many other reasons as well, but these 3-4 things that I thought about earlier, and very good that all of you have also come up with all those points. So thank you very much. So just to summarize what Srila Prabhupada has said, which we already discussed here, the best way to establish a relation in transcendental sweetness is to approach him through his recognized devotees. One should not try to establish the relationship directly. There must be a via medium which is transparent and competent to lead us to the right path. So they have to be recognized devotees who are transparent and competent, who can lead us to the right path. And we should not try to approach the Supreme Lord directly. And that is how we can make further progress into our spiritual life. Aparna Mataji, your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you for this opportunity. So my question was, many times, devotees might not have easy access to other devotees, maybe in some part of the world, even, it could be anywhere. And that person or those people who want to approach Krishna, how can they find a way to get to the recognized devotees, Prabhuji? How do we suggest? How do we talk about that?
Yes, Mataji, that is why Lord Chaitanya had come. And Lord Chaitanya's foremost instruction is that you accept this Krishna consciousness and also distribute it. So he wants each devotee who receives this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra also becomes the bearer of giving it to others. So it is your responsibility, Aparna Mataji, that you go to those places where devotees do not have access, like that people do not yet have access to this path. You actually distribute it to them. And everyone who is on the call, anyone and everyone who is the follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, they have this responsibility to take up Krishna consciousness, implement it in their life, become purified, and then pass it on to others. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amar Agya Guru Haya. So he is saying that each one of you can become a guru and distribute this Krishna consciousness to others. Otherwise, how will everyone connect to Krishna? We have to always remember very gratefully that how we got connected to Krishna by the mercy of some other devotees. And then we should not be misers, that all the wealth that we received from the devotee of this Krishna consciousness and just keep it with us. We should be ready to distribute it to others. And that is the only way that others who still do not have access to it can get access to it. There is no other way. Because Krishna is the property of devotees, and only devotees can give Krishna to others.
Absolutely. Just an example, Prabhuji, for some more perspective. So when we were in Auckland, we had ISKCON Auckland, obviously, and when we moved to Hawke's Bay, we stayed there for a couple of years, and there was no devotee association. Those were the most miserable years of my life. So there was nothing about Krishna. It was like horrible. There was no temple, there was no devotee I could find. But at that time, I had to rely on directly approaching Krishna because I had no one. So reading scriptures or listening to lectures and stuff like that, was it like the right way, or was it something I missed?
Yeah, so if you are approaching, if you are listening to some lectures, you are seeking guidance through the instructions of various devotees, you are not trying to directly approach Krishna. You are still actually going through the devotees and you are still learning from them how to approach Krishna. Also, in that situation, you should have created a small group by inviting others and then reading Bhagavad Gita together. And that way, you would have created the association wherever you are. So next time, if you are in such situations, then you can now do this. Okay?
I hope that never happens, Prabhuji, but if yes, then certainly with your blessings, I will. Thank you so much.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Rajiv Prabhuji.
Sorry, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. That was my point as well, that if there is a devotee all alone in some situation, right, what do they do? So you've answered that, but that probably also doesn't mean that that you can't have a direct connection with God. You can, but it makes it easier if there's other devotees that are around. Because
No,
for
it is very,
example,
very
Bhakt
difficult to.
Prahlad, his father, obviously, as children, growing up, you must listen to your father, and your father is your guide. But Bhakt Prahlad had it different, and he
Yeah.
was a good devotee and had direct connection, and
No, he did not. He
Oh, he
didn't
didn't?
have direct connection with the Supreme Lord. His guide was Narad Muni. Narad Muni instructed him when he was within the womb. And through those instructions that he followed, and then he made progress into his Krishna consciousness. So of course he did not get a lot of association, but whatever little association, that is why it is said, sadhu sanga sarva shastra kai, lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hai. That even lava matra, a moment's association of a sadhu, of a devotee, is enough for perfecting our life. It doesn't have to be that lifelong association is required. Of course, if you can get lifelong association, nothing like it. But even the fraction of a second of association that we can get with the devotee, that is also good enough. So, of course, Prahlad Maharaj got much more than Lava Matra. He was in the womb for those 9 months and he got the continuous association of Narad Muni because he was continuously instructing his mother on Srimad Bhagavatam. She was not listening much, but the child Prahlad within the womb was listening. And that is why he could make such wonderful progress at such a young age. So, in fact, Prahlad Maharaj is a good example of what we are discussing. That even at such a young age, he was able to make that rapid progress because of the powerful association that he received from Narad Muni. And Narad Muni also is a very good example that we have seen in few chapters ago, that in his previous life as a small boy, he got association of those devotees for the 4 months of rainy season, and he served them, he listened to them, he accepted their remnants, and then took their instructions to his heart, and he was able to become Narad Muni in his next life by following their instructions. So all these examples are saying that the direct connection with the Supreme Lord is almost impossible to do. If you are trying to actually connect to the Supreme Lord through your own endeavors, then it is not the process of Bhakti Yoga. Even if you are using the means of Bhakti Yoga, like some processes which are mentioned in Bhakti Yoga, but if there is no devotee association, then you are not going to get the mercy. Bhakti Yoga is the fastest path because it has this big engine of mercy connected to it. If you have to actually base your endeavors, like all your spiritual progress on your endeavors only, then that process is like Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. And that is Bahunam Janmanamante. You will actually have to take many lifetimes before we make little progress towards Krishna. So if we want to actually make progress towards Krishna and connect to him in this one single lifetime, then we require that mercy factor. And that mercy can come through the devotees. So if you want to actually go back to Godhead in this one single lifetime, then the direct connection you should give away. That's not going to work out. That will take many lifetimes. And just one lifetime, if you want to go, have association of devotees. Through them, we will, by their mercy, we can make progress. Okay, there are lots of hands up. We will take just one or two now. Otherwise, okay, there is still time. Okay, I'll take these three hands and then we'll move ahead. Sadashiv Prabhu.
Sorry, bro, it was for reading.
Okay, good. That saves time. Sannivas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, we are seeing these examples now and often now itself. Like we heard the news of one devotee leaving the body in Dunedin. So he just started service, and then it just not even progress, like it just in association of devotees. How much mercy he got at the time of leaving his body. I'm amazed to hear what's happening. And when devotees told me how was when was he eating the last holy name, how he was crying the drop out of his ear. Like, and this, wow, he was getting Bhagavatam, he was getting Kantimala, Tulsi, all Rajabhumi, the stand from Raj and everything. And he's having so much of Harinam Sankirtan happening. And then
Absolutely,
only devotees can do this one, Prabhuji.
Yes. And that mercy is causeless mercy. That is why it is called causeless. Ahaituki. Devotees are actually ready to do things for others because of their heart is compassionate. And as the example that you are sharing, so that is what has happened in that situation as well. So all glories to devotees who are helping everyone like that. And in that particular situation in Dunedin, thanks to all the devotees of Dunedin. Okay, let us move on. Anyway, that doesn't matter. And the entire slide is here instead of one at a time, but that's okay. So now what is happening is, so we have seen till 22nd verse. So 23rd and 24th, that is yet to come. That's correct. भक्त्यावेशमनो यस्मिन् वाचायन्नाम कीर्तयन् त्यजन् कलेवरं योगी मुच्यते कामकर्मभिः. Yes, Srinivasa Mataji and then Aparna Mataji.
The personality of Godhead who appears in the mind of the devotee by attentive devotion and meditation and by chanting the holy name releases the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activities at the time of his quitting the material body.
What verse you can remember after hearing this?
Antakale cha mameva, Prabhuji.
Correct. Antakale cha mameva. Exactly same what Antakale cha mameva was saying is this verse is mentioning. That the personality of Godhead who appears in the mind of a devotee by attentive devotion. A key word is mentioned here, attentive devotion. So attention means the mind is focused. So where the mind is focused, that is where our all senses are also going there in that direction. So by attentive devotion and meditation and by chanting of the holy name, releases the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activities at the time of quitting his material body. So the devotee whose mind is absorbed in Krishna with devotion and whose voice, whose mouth is being used for chanting the holy name, and of course ears is used in hearing the holy name, that person is released from the bondage of karma while quitting the body. And this is explaining the power of attentive chanting. Srila Prabhupada has given us such a wonderful process. He has given the essence of all the Vedic scriptures. And this is also one of the point that we were talking about earlier, that a devotee knows how to connect to the Supreme Lord. If we go through the scriptures, try to go through on our own, then there may be so many paths which are mentioned, and we may get confused. Sometimes we may try this, sometimes we may try that, sometimes we try something else. But then that zigzag way of doing the devotional service will not help us much. But here, Srila Prabhupada has given us that attentive chanting. That you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but chant it attentively. Mind is also focused on it. And then such attentive chanting will help us achieving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We will get shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, next verse. 24. Oh, actually, in this purport, there is this wonderful line that Srila Prabhupada has mentioned. Devotional service to the Lord, it is towards the end of the purport, probably 3-4 lines above from the end. So Srila Prabhupada is saying devotional service to the Lord does not kill the natural desires of the living being, but they are applied in the right cause of devotional service. This qualifies the desire to be transferred to the spiritual sky. So the process of devotional service is not removing all the desires from our heart. It is just channeling all the desires towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by doing that, those desires are transferred to the spiritual sky. So with that desire, we also get transferred to the spiritual sky. That is what is mentioned. 24th. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshataam Kalevaram Yavadidam Hinomyaham Prasannahasarunalochano Lasan Mukham Bhujo Dhyana Pathaschaturbujaha. So now Bhīṣma is explaining what he wants to see, what kind of desires, lalasa that is there in his heart. Yes, Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. May my Lord, who is four-handed and whose beautifully decorated lotus face, with eyes as red as the rising sun, is smiling, kindly await me at that moment when I quit this material body. Hare Krishna.
So Bhishma's worshipable deity is the four-handed Narayana. That is why when he started talking, he said that, "Oh Supreme Lord Krishna, you are Adya Narayana, you are the original Narayana." So because you are the source of the Narayana, hence he is asking Krishna that please show me that form of Narayana who has four hands and he has very beautiful lotus face and his eyes are as red as rising sun and he's smiling. And he is saying that, "Oh Lord, please be here while I am quitting my body." Actually, Srila Prabhupada mentions a beautiful purport here. This purport as well is very, very wonderful. He's saying that Bhishma is guaranteed to go back to Godhead because he's a pure devotee. But still, he's not puffed up. He's not thinking that I can go on my own and I don't need to take Lord's darshan anymore in this life. Pure devotee always wants to have darshan of the Lord. So either here they take darshan of the Lord, or they go to the spiritual world, and there they take darshan of the Lord in the spiritual world. So he's requesting the Lord that you have mercifully come here now. You don't have to come. You have mercifully arrived in front of me when I'm going to leave my body. So please give me this darshan of Chaturbhuj Narayana very smilingly. He be present in front of me when I'm quitting my body. So very, very wonderful desire that he has exhibited here. So from 25th to 28th, we see now Bhīṣmadeva instructs Yudhishthir Maharaj. So there are so many questions Yudhishthir Maharaj has. So those questions Yudhishthir Maharaj is going to ask and Bhīṣmadeva is going to answer them. And that is why he has said to Lord Shri Krishna that while I'm speaking, don't get bored and go away. Please be here. Be present till the time I quit my body. Suta uvacha Yudhishthirastada karnya shayanam sharapanjare apruchhad vividhan dharman rishinam chanushrunvatam. Vikas, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sutta Goswami said, Maharaja Yudhishthira, after hearing Bhīṣmadeva speak in that appealing tone, asked him, in the presence of all the great rishis, about the essential principles of various religious duties.
So Yudhishthir Maharaj heard Bhīṣmadev speaking in such an appealing, nice tone that he inquired Bhīṣmadev about various dharmas. So why should he ask Bhīṣmadev, and why he should do now? So Srila Prabhupada explains very wonderfully in the purport. So Srila Prabhupada is saying he was inspired to ask Bhīṣmadev through the inspiration that he received from Krishna. And that too, he is asking this question in the assembly of so many great rishis. The only purpose is to show to the world that though Bhīṣma is living apparently like a worldly man, he is like a Kshatriya, he is a head of the Kuru dynasty, he is a great general. So people may see him like as a worldly man, materialistic person. But he is not a materialistic person. He is far superior to these many sages who have gathered there. And why he is asking now? There is also a reason. Bhīṣma is actually very aggrieved by being on the deathbed of the arrows. So many arrows have pierced through his body. He is in lot of pain. Like any person who has just one prick that we get by a needle, then we think that, oh, for so long we are thinking, oh, this is a prick, there is a prick. Now imagine that there are so many arrows which have passed through your body, and you are sleeping on the bed of the arrows. So much pain he would be going through, bodily pain. And who would have lengthy discussion on the topics like Raja Dharma, Varnashram Dharma, Stri Dharma, Dana Dharma, all of these things? Who can talk about all of these things at such a point in time? It is like someone is shot by multiple bullets by a gun, and multiple bullets have passed through that one person. And then at his last moment, somebody is asking him, now, you have written this wonderful PhD thesis some time ago. Can you please tell me what is the essence of that PhD thesis? He will say, Arey, get lost at this point in time. I can't think about all this PhD, philosophy or anything. I am in so much pain now. But Lord Shri Krishna wants to show that his pure devotees, they are always sound in their body and mind in any circumstances. So they can speak about the Lord at any time. No matter what their physical situation is, they are ready to speak about the Lord at any time. And Srila Prabhupada says, towards the end, he says that the father likes to see the son become more famous than himself. So Krishna actually have tried to give all this knowledge to Yudhishthir Maharaj himself, but Yudhishthir Maharaj was not convinced. Then Vyasadeva also mentioned he was not convinced. But now Bhīṣmadeva is going to say, and he is going to get convinced. So he is actually showing that, okay, father wants his son, Bhīṣmadeva, to be more glorious, more famous than him. And that is why he has organized all of this. So, he asked about various different religious duties in this question. And then Bhīṣmadeva explains now from 26, 27, 28. 3 verses it is mentioned here. But actually the conversation went on for many, many days. Mahabharat has 18 volumes or 18 books. Like the Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, Mahabharata has 18 cantos. And out of that, Shanti Parva is the 12th canto or 12th part, 12th book. And that is the biggest book that is there. There are around, I think, 350, more than 350 chapters are there. And that Shanti Parva is the instructions of Bhīṣmadeva to Yudhishthira Maharaj. But of course, there is no time to discuss it here. So that is why when Shukadeva Goswami is explaining, he has just given 3 verses that he explained so much different knowledge. So let us see what is mentioned here. Purusha Swabhava Vihitan Yatha Varnam Yatha Shramam Vairagya Raga Upadhipyam Ama Amnatobhya Bhayalakshanan. Mamendra Prabhu.
At Maharaj Yudhishthira inquiry, Bhīṣmadeva first defined whole classification of caste and orders of life in terms of the individual's qualification. Then he systematically, in twofold division, described counteractions by detachment and interaction by attachment.
So here, Yudhishthira asked Bhīṣmadeva about Varnashram Dharma and also about detachment, counteraction by detachment, interaction by attachment. So Vairagya and Raga. So basically Varna, Ashrama, Vairagya and Raga. These 4 activities, 4 things that he asked. And Bhīṣmadeva discussed briefly as well as in detail. So elaborately he discussed. He gave the summary and then he explained it in detail. So Srila Prabhupada gives a brief idea about Varna, Ashramas and this Vairagya and Raga in this purport. So he's explaining that if people are only interested in eating, mating, sleeping, defending, then they are no better than animals. Self-realization, using our higher intelligence to use for self-realization is when we try to become humans. And for any human being, a civilized human being, he said that there are 9 qualifications. Bhīṣmadeva gives 9 qualifications. So someone can read those 9 points, which are given this with numbers. Mantramalam Prabhu, in the purport, you can see this 1 to 9 numbers.
Yes,
in the
Prabhu.
second para.
Okay. Not to become angry, not to lie, to equally distribute wealth, to forgive, to beget children only by one's legitimate wife, to be pure in mind and hygienic in body, not to be inimical toward anyone, to be simple, and to support servants or subordinates.
Yeah. So if you have this 9 qualification, then you are a civilized human being. Otherwise, you are not. So we are not even talking about who's a devotee and who's a brahmana and all of that. Just to become a civilized human being, you have to have this 9 qualification. And then there are 4 varnas. The occupations are explained. The brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya and shudra. And there are 4 ashramas, which is brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyas. And these 4 ashramas, they are for gradual self-realization. And they teach detachment. So brahmachari life, the student life is when the detachment is taught first. And if you are satisfied and you are into that detachment, then you can just continue directly to the 4th order, which is sannyas. But if you are not yet detached, you are still attached, then you can enter grihastha life, still focusing on detachment, still focusing on the Supreme Lord, and then slowly come to vanaprastha and then sannyas. So that is how the cycle of Varna and Ashram brings everyone closer to Krishna. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj asks about many more other topics. So that is 27th verse. Dana dharman, raja dharman, moksha dharman, vibhagashaha, stri dharman, bhagavad dharman, samasa vyasa yogataha.
He then explained by divisions acts of charity, the pragmatic activities of king, and activities for salvation. Then he described the duties of women and devotees, both briefly and extensively. Thank you.
So Bhīṣmadeva explained Dana Dharma, Raja Dharma, Moksha Dharma, Stri Dharma, and then finally Bhagavad Dharma. So both he explained briefly and in detail. So all of these are explained, but of course the main important part is Bhagavad Dharma. how to develop devotion, how to develop love for Krishna through the process of bhakti that he explained. And as I mentioned, this is like a long, actually this conversation happened over many days. So it is not that only a few hours this is happening. So many days. And why it is mentioned that he gave briefly and in detail? Because if you actually go to Shanti Parva of Mahabharata, you can see that the tattva is explained, the philosophical point is mentioned, but in detail there are lots of stories, historical references that Bhīṣmadeva gives. And through that he tries to explain and imbibe those points to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And through Yudhishthir Maharaj, he is explaining to all of us. So there are wonderful stories in Shanti Parva. And in my childhood as well, I read some of those stories from Shanti Parva. One of the story on gratitude is very nice. So there was this a Brahmana called Gautama, and this Brahmana was very poor, and he was begging everywhere, door to door like this. And then once, what happened that is in search of some uh, bhiksha or some donations, he went to another village. And now this entire village was of bandits, of dacoits. And he knocked on one door, and then there he met the leader of those dacoits, the bandits, and he said, "Why you are actually going around and asking for this money everywhere, and just some little rice or whatever that people are giving you? Why don't you join us? We will look after you. You learn what we are doing, and you will be happy." And he said, "Oh, okay, let me try." So the bad association transformed him. So the dacoit, the bandits, gave him a house. They gave him also like a housemaid to live with for 1 year. So this Brahmana, even though he was learned in their association, he also learned how to shoot arrows, how to kill animals, how to kill birds, and then he started eating meat. So once what happened was, after some days have passed, one other Brahmana who was the friend of Gautama, he came to that village, and he was shocked to see how Gautam had fallen down. And he said that, "Do you not feel shame? You are learned. You are supposed to be practicing austerity. You are practicing ahimsa, non-violence. And see, look at you. You are now killing birds, killing animals, and eating meat like this. This is not the right thing you should be doing." And he said that, oh, he feels that, okay, thank you. You are giving me right advice. You stay here for 1 day, and at night, we will all, both of us will flee from here. So that is what they do. At night, they both run away from that village, and then they part ways. And this Brahmana is thinking that I have to actually find some good occupation. And in a short time, I should earn some quick money so that then I can be peacefully, I can be a right Brahmana. So with that, he's roaming around, and then he comes to this forest where he sees that, oh, this forest is very, very enchanting, very beautiful forest that is there. And at the center of the forest, there is this small pond and this beautiful banyan tree, which is at the bank of this, which is giving this cool uh, uh, shadow, and the air is also very nice, cool. So he thinks that, okay, let me rest here for tonight, and then the next day I can go ahead. So when he's resting there, this crane comes. This crane is very, very effulgent. And that crane, because of that effulgence, this Brahmana Gautama who's sleeping, he wakes up. And when he wakes up, he looks at this beautiful crane, and the crane says that, okay, looks like you are very tired. Let me help you. And he starts flapping his wings. And with that, he creates even more cool breeze for the Brahmana. He asks, "Are you hungry?" he goes and collects some food and gives to the Brahmana. And he says that you rest here and you tell me whatever your desire is. I am actually coming just from the heavenly planets and I can actually fulfill your desires as well. So Brahmana says that I'm actually looking for some quick wealth so that then I can go back to my village. He said, don't worry. I have a friend who's the king of the Rakshasas, Virupaksha. So no, tomorrow you go there and you tell him that you are my friend. He will give you a lot of money. So to cut the story short, so finally the next day Brahmana says that, oh, very good, I will go ahead. And he goes to the path that this crane had mentioned. This crane's name is Rajadharma. So Rajadharma guides him to which way to go. And he meets this Virupaksha, the, uh, the king of the Rakshasas. And Virupaksha understands that this Brahmana is not actually a real Brahmana. He has a fallen down Brahmana. But he says, okay, you are my friend's friend. You are Raj Dharma's friend. So what do you want? He says that I want some money. I want some wealth. So he gives him a lot of wealth. He says that whatever wealth you want, you take from my treasury. So he takes all this wealth in his heavy bag that now he's carrying and he's going back. So on the way back, he again passes through the forest. And then Rajadharma again gives him shelter and he says that, okay, you rest and then you go ahead. And when he's thinking of leaving from there after resting, he's thinking, oh, my way from here is still far away. And I have this heavy bag on my back. So I don't know whether I will get enough food or not. So he looked around and he looked at Rajadharma and he's thinking, anyway, I have killed so many birds. Why don't I kill this bird and I will eat his meat on the way back so that I will be now, I have guarantee that I have food and I have a lot of wealth now. I can reach home. And ungratefully, he just kills that crane, Rajadharma, and creates a fire, roasts his meat, and then takes that meat with him on the path. After 1 or 2 days, Virupaksha is thinking that why my friend Rajadharma hasn't come to see me. So he sends his son to see what is happening because he's a little bit doubtful about this greedy Brahmana. So he says that go and see whether Rajadharma is okay. When the prince comes, he sees that only some bones are left around in under the tree. He goes back and reports to Virupaksha. Virupaksha is very angry and he says to his soldiers, go and catch the Brahmana, Gautama. So he catches, all the soldiers go, not far away, they catch that Brahmana, Gautama, and brings back to Virupaksha. And Virupaksha is so angry on him, saying that how can you be so ungrateful? He is the one who helped you with everything. He is the one who gave you wealth. He gave you his shelter. He gave you food. And you actually acted like this? You are caught with the meat of Rajadharma. So he says that only thing that I can do with you is to take your life. So he he says to his Rakshasa soldiers that this Gautama is yours now. You kill and eat him. And the Rakshasa says, no, 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 no. We don't want to eat meat of such an ungrateful person. So he said, okay, then go and put him into this other forest where there are these man-eater people. Narabhakshak people are there. So they will actually go and eat him. So there as well, those man-eater people also, they say that, no, no, we don't want to eat meat of such a ungrateful person. Take him away. So finally they kill him and throw him away into um, into some open space, thinking that the vultures will come and they will eat him. But to their surprise, even vultures are not ready to eat the meat of this ungrateful person. And at that time, Virupaksha is preparing to give some cremation to his friend Rajadharma. So at that time, Surabhi cow comes and drops some milk from her udder, which is like nectar. And by that, the crane Rajadharma is again becomes alive. So when Rajadharma is alive, the first thing he asks is, where is my friend Gautama gone? And then he understands that Gautama is now dead. He says that, can you please save him as well? And then Gautama is also saved. So the story, and then Gautama is actually Rajadharman. What he does, he actually says that, okay, all this wealth you take and you go. And Gautama goes to his village, and even though Rajadharma as well as the Surabhi cow had forgiven him, but because all the other devatas were so unhappy, they curse him. And that is why he always remains unhappy in that entire life. So this story, Bhīṣmadeva is telling Yudhishthira Maharaj to explain how gratitude is such an important virtue that everyone should have. So those who have helped us even little, we should be grateful. And if you show like this kritagnata, you forget what they have done for us, then you will suffer the whole of your life. Even these moral values are missing nowadays in this day and age. And to help all of us through Shanti Parva, Bhīṣmadeva has given these various different stories to tell us to develop these qualities of gratitude, and so that we can progress on the spiritual path. So if we are not even having some moral values, what is the possibility that we can develop love for Krishna? If we develop this, because the same gratitude or ingratitude that will come into our devotional life as well, and then we will be ungrateful towards the devotees who are helping us, and that will actually create a lot of offenses. So to avoid all of that, we can actually take this knowledge which Mahajana Bhīṣma is giving to us. And of course, there are multiple such stories. If we try to cover all of them, I do not know all of them. First of all, I have to read them in detail. I just remember a few stories that I have heard in the past since childhood. But they are very, very wonderful stories in Shanti Parva. So if anyone is interested, they can read. Of course, focus most important part is the Bhagavad Dharma that he has mentioned. And that Bhagavad Dharma is already in Srimad Bhagavatam. So all the knowledge that we should have is already given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Remember, this is the crest jewel of all the knowledge. So we should just focus on Srimad Bhagavatam if we have limited time. But after that, if you still want to explore something more, then you can read some of the other scriptures. Okay, moving on, 28th verse. धर्मार्थ काम मोक्षांश सहोपायान यथा मुने नानाख्याने तिहासेषु वर्णयामास तत्ववेत्. Ajay Devi Mataji.
Then he described the occupational duties of different orders and statuses of life, citing instances from history, for he was himself well acquainted with the truth.
Yeah. So now in this verse, it is mentioned that he talked about dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And he not only mentioned about them, but he actually cited all the instances from the history. He gave the example of Yayati, he gave example of Janak Maharaj, so many different examples that he gave. And then through that, he explained to Yudhishthira Maharaj about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. 29. Dharmam pravadatastasya sakala pratyupasthitaha yo yoginashchanda mrutyor vanchitastu tarayanaha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. While Vishwadev was describing occupational duties, the sun course ran into northern hemisphere. This period is desired by mystics who die at their will. Hare Krishna.
So while Bhīṣmadeva was explaining all of this, Dana Dharma, Raja Dharma, Moksha Dharma, Sri Dharma, Bhagavad Dharma, and Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Varnashram Dharma, everything that he was explaining, at that time the sun's course changed to Uttarayan, when the sun moves towards northwards. And in Bhagavad Gita, we have seen in the 8th chapter, Srila Prabhupada also refers to that 8.24, where it mentioned that anyone who leaves this body, their body in the 6 months of Uttarayan, they achieve Brahman. So they go to the spiritual world. So because Bhīṣmadeva had the ability to wait till Uttarayan, he was waiting. But basically, as a devotee, as the 8th chapter also says, that as a devotee, you don't have to worry about Uttarayan, Dakshinayan, whether you are passing away in the waning moon or waxing moon, or during the day or during the night. For them, as long as they are remembering Krishna, anytime that they can live, they are going back to Godhead. So from Bhishma's perspective, he doesn't have to actually wait for Uttarayan, but he was mainly waiting for the Supreme Lord to be present in front of him. And that Supreme Lord now he is present of him, in front of him. And as the Lord desired, he has also given the knowledge required for Yudhishthir Maharaj and for the ages to come. All of that, his duty he has done. Now he is ready to leave his body. तदोपसंहृत्य गिरा सहस्रणे विमुक्त संगम मन आदि पुरुषे कृष्णे लसत्पीतपटे चतुर्भुजे पुरस्थिते मिलित दृग् व्यधारयत्. Surananda Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thereupon, that man who spoke on different subjects with thousands of meanings and who fought on thousands of battlefields and protected thousands of men stopped speaking and being completely freed from all bondage, withdrew his mind from everything else and fixed his wide opened eyes upon the original personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who stood before him four-handed, dressed in yellow garments that glittered and shined.
So it is mentioned that Bhīṣmadeva spoke on thousands of subjects and fought thousands of battles, but now he has stopped speaking. He withdrew his mind from everything else and focused it on the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, who was standing in front of him in four-handed form now, because that was the desire that he had expressed before, that he wanted to see Lord Shri Krishna in the four-handed Narayana form. So the Lord has now showing him the four-handed Narayana form, and it is mentioned he is dressed in yellow garments, and which is glittering and shining. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, he has in the beginning first paragraph itself, the subject matter which attracts the dying man becomes the beginning of the next life. So whatever we are attracted towards at the last moment, that is how we get the next life. That is what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 8th chapter. We have seen before, Antakalecha mameva smarana muktva kalevaram ya prayati sabat madbhavam na yati nastatra samshaya. At the time of death, if you remember Krishna, then you will go to Krishna. And the next verse, is our Brajesh there? Brajesh, you remember Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam?
Yes.
Yeah, can you recite?
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam chajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha.
What about the next one? Tasmat Sarveshu.
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmaryatya cha mayarvitam mano buddhir mame vaishyasya samseha.
Very good, excellent, Brajesh. Well done. So as mentioned in this verse, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhava, whatever we are thinking about while Tyajatyante Kalevaram, while we are leaving our body, Tam Tamevati Kaunteyas Sada Tad Bhava Bhavita. We will get that kind of form. That is what is mentioned here. And that is why how and what we should be doing is Tasma Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhecha. Krishna is saying that is why always remember me and then do your prescribed duty. And my arpita manobuddhir, like offer your mind and intelligence unto me, and if you do that, then you will come to me. Of that there is no doubt. So that is what this complete process that we talked about in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhīṣmadeva is explaining or showing by his own example how to do that. So that was Jnana, this is Vijnana. So he was speaking on so many topics. He has fought so many battles in before, but now he is just withdrawing his mind completely from all of those topics, all of those achievements that he has done, and now he's focusing it only on the Supreme Lord Krishna. That is the only thing that he's thinking about at this point, nothing else. And he has withdrawn his mind from everything, focused on the Lord, and now he is explaining the form of the Lord that he's seeing. Vishuddhaya dharanaya hata shubhas tadikshayaiva shugatayudhashramah nirvritta sarvendriya vritti vibhramas tuštavajanyam visrujya janardanam.
Hare Krishna,
Who's
Prabhuji.
next? Yeah, Parmendra Prabhu.
By pure meditation, looking at Lord Shri Krishna, he at once was freed from all material inauspiciousness and was relieved of all bodily pains caused by the arrow wounds. Thus, all the external activities of his senses at once stopped, and he prayed transcendently to the controller of all living being while quitting this material body. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. So by pure meditation, he was freed from all inauspiciousness and all bodily pain that was caused by arrows, that was all gone. And all the external activities by his senses were stopped, and he prayed to the Supreme Lord. So he is now focusing on the Supreme Lord, his mind, intelligence, now everything he is utilizing on the Supreme Lord, focusing on the Supreme Lord, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. And now the Bhīṣma Stuti, or the prayers of Bhīṣmadeva, are coming. So we are just going to cover few, 2-3 verses, and then we will pause. So the first one, verse number 32. Shri Bhīṣma Uvacha iti matir उपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभुम्नि स्वसुखम upagate क्वचिद. Oh, this tune is completely wrong.
Iti
इति मतिर् उपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभुम्नि स्वसुखम उपगते क्वचिद विहर्तुं प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषु यद भव प्रवाहः. Yes, next one. Who's next? Adi Devi Mataji.
Bhīṣmadeva said, "Let me now invest my thinking, feeling, will, and willing, which are so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created."
Yeah. So, Srila Prabhupada mentions here in the purport, he's saying that Bhīṣma has been busy all his life, long life, because he has lived a long life. He has Ichha Mrityu Vardhan, so he has the boon that he can die at the time that he wishes to die. So he has lived a long life. And during this long life, he has performed various different activities. He was the head of the Kuru dynasty. He was a great general, and he was a leader of Kshatriyas. So his mind was always busy on many subject matters and occupational duties. But he now wants to withdraw it from all those subjects and invest his thinking, feeling, and willing on the Supreme Lord only. And he's mentioning, Bhīṣmadeva is mentioning that the Lord is always self-satisfied. He's Atmaram. But still he comes to the material world as he's the leader of the devotees. This is Satvata Pungava. So Satvata means devotees, and Satvata Pungava means he's the leader of the devotees. As Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, he comes as a leader of the devotees to guide the devotees. And from him the material world is coming, but still he enters into the material world. Isn't that bewildering? That something is created by you and you are entering into that now. So he is explaining various different glories of the Supreme Lord, and through his prayers, now he is going to explain the form that he is seeing. Tribhuvanakamanam tamalavarnam Ravikara Gauravarambaram dadhane Vapuralaka kulavritananabjam Vijaya sakhera tirastum mena vadya. Sadashiv.
Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face, covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results. Hare Krishna.
So he's meditating on this form now. So let me have, interestingly, he says that Vijaya Sakhe Ratirastu. So Vijaya is Arjuna's name. So Vijaya Sakha means Arjuna's friend. So Lord Shri Krishna. So he is also approaching Krishna through Arjuna in reference to Arjuna, Vijaya Sakha. And he's saying that I want Rati. Rati means I want this attraction towards the Supreme Lord who is the friend of Arjuna. So let me have Rati for Vijaya Sakha, whose transcendental body is desired by the three worlds. Everyone wants to take darshan of the Supreme Lord. Everyone wants to actually serve the Supreme Lord. And whose complexion is dark like tamal tree. And whose glittering yellow cloths shine in the sun. And whose lotus-like face is surrounded by curly locks of hair. So that is how he is seeing the Supreme Lord. Continuing on. Let's read the translation. Who's next?
I'll go, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, go for it.
On the battlefield where Sri Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses, and because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Now this verse is little bit bewildering for the devotees. They're thinking, how can Bhīṣma think that I am actually firing arrows towards Krishna and he's enjoying it? And he's saying that my arrows are wounding him. And then he's enjoying it. It's quite interesting. His description of the form is continuing. He's saying that let my mind be focused on Lord Shri Krishna on the battlefield. And he's explaining his hair, like earlier he had explained in the previous verse, that his lotus face is surrounded by curly locks of hairs. And those hair, now he's saying that those flowing hair were covered by dust raised by the horses on the battlefield. And in Vrindavan, you know that there are so many cows and the cows are going, there is a lot of dust which is raised. And in Vrindavan, Krishna's hair is covered by dust because of the cows. But on the battlefield, his hair is covered by dust because of the horses now. And his face is covered, or it is actually wet because of the sweat which is on his face. And then he's saying, he enjoyed my sharp arrows which wounded him. We can't understand this. Only the devotees who are in Veer Rasa, chivalry, only those devotees can understand this. But just to give us some understanding, Srila Prabhupada explains towards the end of the first paragraph. He says, thus his throwing of sharp arrows at the transcendental body of the Lord is as good as the worship of another devotee who throws soft roses upon him. So one devotee is throwing soft roses towards Krishna and worshipping him like that. But devotees like Bhīṣmadeva, who are in Veer Rasa, they are firing arrows towards Krishna, and there is so-called wounds on his body. It is actually scratching his body. And that is also giving the same effect as this other devotee who is throwing soft roses towards the Krishna, towards the Supreme Lord. Understanding that in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has already mentioned in the 23rd verse, Brijesh Prabhu, I have another verse for you. Do you know Nainam Chindanti Shastrani?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes,
Yes, Prabhuji. Nainam chintanti sastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, nachainam kledayanti apo, na soshayati martaha.
Wonderful, Hari Bol. So there, Krishna has already mentioned that soul cannot be pierced by any weapon. Nainam chindanti shastrani. That any weapon cannot pierce the soul. So if the shastra or the weapons cannot pierce a soul, which is Anu, where is the question that it can pierce the Vibhu, which is the super soul, which is the Supreme Lord Krishna? When Krishna appears in this material world, he comes in his own spiritual body. So he is inside out spiritual. So the weapons of Bhīṣmadeva cannot pierce his body. It is just a pastime that he performs so that he and Bhīṣmadeva both enjoy that pastime. So, and he accepts those arrows just like some devotees offering some flowers to him. 35. Amen.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In obedience to the command of his friend, Lord Krishna entered the arena of the battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana. And while there, he shortened the lifespan of the opposite party by his merciful glance. This was done simply by his looking at the enemy. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Here as well, if you see, he's referring to Krishna as Partha Sakha. Earlier he said Vijaya Sakha. Now again he's referring to him as Partha Sakha. So he's saying you are the friend of Arjuna. And he is remembering Lord's affection and mercy to his pure devotees like Arjuna. So he's remembering that how Lord allowed himself to be controlled by Arjuna as his chariot driver. And he's saying that on Arjuna's instruction, you moved the chariot in between the two parties on the battlefield. And he remembered this Bhritya Vashyata again, that how he is getting controlled. And that is how he gave mercy to Arjuna. But at the same time, he also gave mercy to all the soldiers on the opposing side to Arjuna. That by his merciful glance on the opposite side, he shortened their lifespan. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining how that is merciful. In the second paragraph, towards the middle, he says, factually, he was merciful to the opposite party because they would not have attained salvation by dying at home in the ordinary course of time. So if they would have died at home, they would have remained in the cycle of birth, old age, death, and disease. But because they were dying in front of the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord has actually put merciful glance on them, they are going to get liberated when they die on that battlefield, even if they are fighting on the opposite side. They are fighting on Duryodhana's side. So that is how, even though it is said that their life was shortened, but still it was a mercy of the Supreme Lord on them. We'll stop here and we'll continue the remaining from 36 onwards, verse 36 onwards, and complete the chapter next week. If there are any questions, comments, reflections, summary points, then please go ahead. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I have a
Sudharma.
question, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the beginning when we started on text 18 and also text 24, like both Bhīṣmadeva is actually looking at Krishna as Vishnu form, right? He also said the first Narayana in 18, and also he wanted to see the four-handed form. So normally in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, of course, we have understood from our acharyas, like, of course, Krishna is the original personality, and from him, the four Vishnus are coming.
Correct.
So, but here, when we are looking at what Bhīṣma Pitama is saying, So is it like he is looking at Vishnu as the original primal
No,
Supreme Personality? Is that the understanding, Prabhuji? Just want to
no, no.
clarify that.
It is mentioned that his worshipable deity is the four-handed Narayana form. So even though he understands that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is the Adi Narayana, he is the origin of the Narayana also. He mentioned in the first verse itself that we looked at, he said that you are the origin of the Narayana. You are the first Narayana. So he knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead from whom everyone is coming. But still, because his worshipable deity is Narayana, he wants Krishna to show Narayana form. If Narayana was origin and then Krishna was coming from him, Krishna wouldn't be able to show that Narayana form. But because Narayana is coming from Krishna, Krishna can show all the forms that he wants to show. So understanding that, he is asking Krishna to show the Narayana form.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
that is his worshipable deity.
Okay,
For
thank
example, even if Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if someone wants to worship, say, Lord Ram or Lord Narsimha, and that is their worshipable deity, then they will say, even if Krishna is present in front of them, they will say, oh, please show me your Narsimha form. Please show me your Lord Ram's form. Same here, Bhīṣmadeva is wanting to go back to Vaikuntha. His worshipable deity is Narayana, and he wants to go there. So he is asking Krishna to show that Narayana form. My worshipable deity is Narayana. I know you are Krishna, but please show me the Narayana form, the Chaturabhuja Narayana form. That is
Thank you,
the.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Bharadwaj.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is similar, and you answered that my question. Like, I was trying to reconcile the fact that, Arjuna actually asked to see the four-handed form, and then immediately he asked to see the two-handed form. He was actually wanted to, because in the verses also, it says that Arjuna was a continuous Sakha, continuously traveling with Krishna. So he understood. So my confusion was why being Mahajana, Bhīṣmadeva, why was he actually attached to Narayana form rather than the highest form as Krishna? So, but you answered probably. I think it's everyone has their own inclination. Yeah.
Actually, this higher and lower form is not, how can I say that? Like, it is from the Tattva perspective, we can see this. But from the emotion or relationship perspective, it cannot be seen like this. For example, the beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Someone, like everyone, like is married, like many of us are married here. So we are actually looking at, okay, our wife is the most beautiful. Even if there were many options, we said that no, I am going with her. At that time, we are not thinking, no, this other person is more beautiful. No, from my perspective, she is the most beautiful. Right? So from the devotee's perspective, who is looking from the vision of love, for them, the form that they are worshipping is the most dear to them. They are not thinking that this is higher or lower, because Krishna is absolute. So Tattva is different. But Leelas, when we are actually seeing, or the relations or emotions we are seeing, then we can say that from the devotee's perspective, whatever form that they are worshipping, that is the most dear to them. So Bhīṣmadeva, he understands the philosophy. Krishna is the supreme and whatever. But his beloved is that form in Narayana form. So he wants to have that darshan of the Narayana. That is his love. We can't change the love.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That clarifies. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Sadashiv Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Wonderful lecture today. On the 34th shloka, when you were saying about the wounds dealt by sharp arrows, I was thinking of the parents enjoying their child, kicking them on their chest when the child grows. That one relation. And then one request from Brijesh. He memorized Bhīṣma Stuti, Prabhuji. He want to recite one of the shlokas, any one shloka.
Okay, please go ahead. I think he will do a better job than me, looks like.
Sorry,
Actually, this
Prabhuji.
Bhīṣma Stuti is actually sung in various beautiful tunes. But I haven't grasped that tune yet. But probably Brijesh would have done that. So Brijesh, please go ahead. You can recite one or two verses.
It start with Iti, Maharaj.
Sri Bhīṣma Uvacha Eti Matirupakal Pita Vitrishna Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukamupagate Kachidvihartam Prakritimubeyushiyad Bhava Pravaha.
The second one as well, and then stop.
Tribhuvanagamanam Tamalavarnam Ravikaragadaurambaram Dadane Vapuralakakulam Vartananabjam Vijayasakeratirasthu me Navadya.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Next two as well, Prabhu. We have covered the other two as well. Please go ahead.
Next one is
Yodithuragaraja Vidumra Vishwak Kachallalita Sramavaryalan Kritasye Mama Nisita Sare Vividyamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma. Sapati Sakivacha Nisamya Madhye Neja Parayor Balayoratam Nivesya Stitavati Parasai Nikayudakshna Kritavati Partha Sake Drati Mamastu.
Very wonderful. Excellent. Beautiful. This is the tune I couldn't actually grasp yet, and that is why I was not trying. But very, very wonderful, Brijesh Prabhu. The remaining Bhishma Stuti, all the verses I'm going to ask you to recite before I explain further. So you have to be ready till the next session to recite the remaining verses. Okay, Brijesh?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Nice, Prabhuji. Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Once again, a wonderful lecture. Today, I had a question, but I think that was covered by Bharadwaj Rishi Prabhuji and Sudharma Mataji's questions responses. So thank you for that. My realization or / reflection would be the story which you told about the Gautama Rishi, the gratitude, ungrateful kind of Brahman. So I was thinking yesterday, Prabhuji, I was talking to Anang Manjari Mataji, and I had a deep sense of reverence because sometimes we get so caught up with our, our bhakti or whatever we are doing sadhana and think, oh wow, look at us, we are making progress and stuff like that. But the fact is, we should not forget our roots. So, of course, big thanks and gratitude to yourself and Mataji and all the senior devotees who are looking after us under your capable guidance. So, thank you so very much. And I don't know, I've got no qualification to say that, but I thought I must say this to you and to all the senior devotees who are helping and bringing Krishna into our lives. Thank you so very much, Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. It is Srila Prabhupada's mercy that we are getting, and whatever we are learning, we are engaging in our own Krishna consciousness somehow or the other. If that is helping all of you, then that is credit of Srila Prabhupada.
We are very fortunate.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Sudananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Wonderful lecture. I have to take 2 points today, Prabhuji. Like Bhīṣmadeva, even though a lot of arrows are pierced in his body, but he is ready to give the preachings. So devotees are always ready to preach. And yeah, another point, as Apana Mataji covered, like we have to be showing gratitude, even though if you receive a small help from others.
Yeah, gratitude is such a virtue or such a quality that will actually take us ahead, not only in the material world, but also on the spiritual platform. Because that gratitude that we can show towards the devotees or anyone who's helping us, if you remember that little help that we get from anyone, then we can make a lot of progress. And we can see from the example of Srila Prabhupada also, he was grateful towards his disciples. Can you imagine this? He actually made them happies from hippies. So he changed their life. He transformed their life. But when he's thinking about them, he's thinking that, oh, all these people are sent by my Guru Maharaj. So I'm grateful to them that they are helping me to fulfill the desire of my spiritual master. So we have these examples in front of us that we have read, but sometimes we forget about it, and then we get digressed from it, and then Kritagnata, as just from the example, the story that we saw, that not even the vultures are ready to touch that person. So if we become Kritagna, we forget the things which are done for us, then we are not even we become even untouchable to even the vultures. So what to speak of the other people? So we definitely do not want to become Kritagna in our life. We should always try to become grateful to others. And with that gratitude, if we actually live our life, then our life will be really good. We will not find faults in others. We will always see something good in others, and then always remember what they have done for us, and then make progress in our life with that mood, with that attitude. Thank you, Prabhu. Shama Kumari Mataji. I think you and Gaur Chandra Prabhu has been missing from action today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I am a little bit unwell, so I was all the time sitting in my bed listening to the class and making notes.
Oh, you're not well yet, Mataji?
No, Prabhuji, actually, I was well, and then I got again unwell. It's just
Oh, we pray that you feel better
yesterday.
soon.
No, yesterday was very hot here, and we went for book distribution outlet. So I think I got some, it's kind of like tiredness and fever from there. But I'll be fine, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Now, yes, thank you. So first of all, Prabhuji, I'm really, really grateful to Krishna and you that I don't know, somehow or other Krishna has arranged this that during this these 5 days of Bhīṣma Panchak, we are listening to the passing away of Bhīṣmadeva. It's really, really auspicious. So I'm really grateful to Krishna and the arrangements he has made for all of us. And secondly, Prabhuji, I have a question. I heard that Shanti Parva is another name for Mahabharata. Is that correct, Prabhuji? Or Mahabharata is the name, and then Shanti Parva is one of the part of that Mahabharata?
Yeah, Shanti Parva is one of the sections of the 18 Parvas which are there in Mahabharata, and each Parva has a name. Just like our Ramayana also has this khandas, and then each that has name. So similarly, Mahabharata also has this multiple 18 Parvas, and one of the Parvas, the 12th Parva, is Shanti Parva, and Shanti Parva refers to this conversation between Bhīṣmadeva and Yudhishthira Maharaj. So yeah, it is not like Mahabharata is the thing, like the entire scripture for that. And then a part of it, the 12th part is called Shanti Parva.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji. In a small video, ISKCON devotees were asking the people around that what is the original name of Mahabharata, and then they gave the answer Shanti Parva. So I was like a bit, I thought maybe it's Shanti Parva is the name of Mahabharata earlier.
No, it is not.
Okay, thank you. And thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the beautiful class. I was also reflecting on this, remembering, not reflecting, I was remembering this little story where Krishna got disappeared in front of the eyes of gopis when gopis were singing Gopi Geet in his separation. And then Krishna appeared in the form of Chaturbhuj Narayan, but they asked Narayan that, oh, do you know where Krishna is? So they just wanted to see Krishna only in that beautiful Shyam Sundar form and not in Narayan form. So they just neglected Narayan and they were just asking Narayan where Krishna is.
If Bhīṣmadeva was there, he would be very pleased. Right? But gopis were present there. So gopis, their loving figure was not the Chaturbhuj Narayan. They were looking for two-handed Shama Sundar. So yeah, that's right. Thank you, Mataji. And
Thank you.
it is actually Krishna's arrangement somehow or the other. When the Kartik month started, we were talking about Kunti Maharani's prayer, where she was talking about this Damodar Leela in that verse. And now we are in Bhīṣma Panchak, we are talking about Bhīṣmadeva. Definitely Krishna's arrangement, as his blessing, we are getting that.
Yes, thanks.
Hare
It's
Krishna.
the arrangement that Krishna has made you speak all these, like verses in that way. He's making you an instrument for his pleasure and for the pleasure of all the devotees who are listening.
Yes,
Thank you
Mother.
so much.
Yes, thank you.
Hare
Mantramulam
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, is it possible to explain something more about Bhīṣma Panchak?
Bhishma Panchak, as I said, it is mainly the devotees do more austerity in that. And as we were talking about, any austerity, Krishna is not attracted by austerity. Krishna is not attracted by our knowledge or anything. Krishna is attracted by our love and devotion. So when we do austerity, we should always think that how can I remove the focus that I have on myself, and how can I move that focus onto the Supreme Lord Krishna. And that is the purpose of the any austere things that comes into our life, like in Krishna conscious life, which is Ekadashi, or especially the Bhima Ekadashi, which is the Nirjala Ekadashi, or the Bhishma Panchak, which is there. These are um, the opportunities for intensifying our bhakti, so that we can remove our focus from ourself, from our body, and give more focus on Krishna. So especially today, which is also the Kartik Ekadashi, so chant as many rounds as possible, read as much Srimad Bhagavatam, do as much service as possible. So in this next 5 days, if you are able to do that, that is great.
Thank you,
That
Prabhuji.
will take us closer to Krishna by the mercy of Bhīṣmadeva.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sannivas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranams. Prabhuji, 2 points I like most today. That thing is, we can't do bhakti by ourselves individually. We have to take the guidance of Guru in achieving bhakti, and then because the topmost thing which we can't get it is the false ego. So the false ego can be removed, and we can become dasa dasa anudasa by imbibing that mood from our acharyas, and then devotees. We can understand that mood and practice that mood. And in the Bhishma Suti, when it started, it says that let my thinking, feeling, willing now be absorbed in you, Krishna. So that's a very nice wording of how Bhishmadev is bringing back his consciousness onto the lotus feet of Krishna and observing. And that is the point of meditation for me from now on. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very
Yeah,
nice.
wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you for your realizations. Sudharma Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Mataji?
Prabhuji. Just
Yes.
wanted to share one more thing, Prabhuji. We started, Bhishmadeva Stuti started with describing how Krishna is, how he is dressed, and how he looks. So you started the session asking the question like why we can't approach God directly. It has to be through the devotee only. So it's a very good example. Like we don't know how Krishna looks or how he is. So following the devotee's footsteps, we can know like, oh, Krishna is like that. So it's gives an opportunity, or it reconfirms like we have to follow the footsteps of the acharyas and devotees so that we can approach the Lord.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nice realization, Mataji. Thank you.
very much.
Mantramulam Prabhu, your hand is still up. It's from the past, or?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Shama Kumari Mataji, you still have something to share?
Sorry, Prabhuji.
No? Okay. Sannivas Prabhu, you have something, or your hand is still up?
Yes, Prabhuji. The one Mataji told, I was amazed to see that when whoever sees Krishna and prays Krishna, everyone says about yellow dhoti. So, so every prayer has this same
Pitambar.
items. Yeah, same item, same how he looks. So no one is confused of giving a different description of Krishna. Everyone is giving the same description of Krishna. So which is amazing. I was saying that one.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Wonderful. Okay. If there are no other reflections, comments, then we will stop here today. Chant more, do some more service, and if you're doing some austerity, focus it so that we can get connected more and more to Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.